Hello everyone, thanks for joining on the class library. This morning we are going to do a little bit of back bending, a little bit of stretching our quads and twisting. That was per requested here in the studio. Thanks for joining in. All right, so we're going to start sitting up. Actually, let's start lying down this morning. We're going to start lying down on our mats. And you can either bring the soles of the feet together and the knees out to the side, or you can plant the soles of the feet on the mat. Whatever feels best for your lower back this morning. So I want you to take your awareness to your lower back. If your leg stretched out straight feels good, you're welcome to do that as well. But to start here, you can close your eyes. Start to take in deep inhales and exhales. Relax your shoulders. Relax your hips, your lower back. And as you continue with those deep inhales and exhales, notice your mind starting to calm and still notice your body starting to relax and prepare for this next hour of class. Take about 3 more rounds of deep inhales and exhales in and out of your nose. Allowing your chest to open and rise big and slowly fall on your exhale. And on that last round of breath, if your feet aren't already soles of the feet on the mat, go ahead and take the soles of the feet onto the mat. We're just going to warm up and stretch out our lower back here. So take your hands onto the mat. They can be relaxed, but we're going to ground down into our feet. So the heels are just a little bit farther away from your sit bones. So if you have them tucked in close, just walk them away a little. Ground down into those feet, and I want you to just isolate our tailbones here and our hips. So it's going to be pulling those lower ribs in and trying to flatten the lower back all the way down onto the mat, as if you're tucking your tailbone up towards the ceiling. So the tailbone's lifting up towards the ceiling, your core is active, and the whole spine, you're trying to get it down onto the mat. So lifting up your sacrum, the lower back on the mat. And then on the inhale, you're going to take that tailbone and press it down towards the mat, tilting your pelvis forward, opening up your navel, releasing your core a little bit. So we're just going to do this a few times. I like to really exaggerate this motion because it actually helps the core engagement and your lower back at the same time. So engage your core, melt that back and down into the mat, lifting your tailbone up, pressing into your feet. Keep the core in, keep the core tucked in. And then we're opening it up, taking the tailbone down onto the mat, tilting the pelvis forward, opening up that core. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, roll the back flat. So this is just a small isolated movement, but it adds so much strength and mobility in your lower back. Last one, take the tailbone down towards the mat, open the pelvis up. And bring your lower back down onto the mat. Just switch those legs side to side. Massage out your core slightly. So you're relaxing your core here and just bending those knees side to side, doing a little swish. And then bringing the knees in toward your chest, giving your legs a hug, flattening your back out again onto the mat. Just taking slow movements in your lower body just to warm up. And if there's anything that your body is calling for during this class, you are welcome to modify or alter any of the poses as you see fit for your body. And at the end, we'll probably have just a few moments where you can add in a pose if maybe there was something you were feeling like doing this morning and we missed. On your last exhale, take and reach your arms out behind you and reach your legs out straight, giving a nice good morning stretch. Reach through those fingertips, reach through your toes. Maybe you let your body hover and you're activating your core. And exhale, bring the knees in toward your chest, wrap it back around. And inhale, reach it out, good morning stretch. Reach out through the fingertips, through the toes. You can let your hands and feet hover, or you can relax them down to the mat, whatever feels best. Exhale, knees into your chest, wrap your arms around. One more time, big good morning stretch. Reach out. And exhale, bring the knees in, wrap the arms around. Rock gently over to your right side and make your way up into a tabletop position on your mat. So we're just going to go right into a tabletop. Taking your hands underneath of your shoulders, knees underneath of your hips. We're going to go into a thread the needle to continue opening up this back. So ground down into that right hand. Inhale, lift your left arm up towards the ceiling. Allow your chest to open. Exhale, thread that hand through your right hand and your right knee. Come down onto your left shoulder. So you can either stay here or you can reach that right arm out towards the front edge of your mat. Sink your hips back. Or if you're feeling like you need to add more of a twist or open up that chest, you can wrap the right arm behind your back. On that last exhale, take the right hand, plant it back down onto the mat. Inhale, unravel. Reach and lengthen again through the left fingertips. Exhale, left hand down onto the mat. And we'll switch sides, ground down into your left hand, reach your right arm up. Exhale, thread your right hand through your left hand and your left knee, come down onto that shoulder. Take a big breath in here, and same thing, either reaching that left hand out towards the front edge of your mat, sinking your tailbone back, or wrapping that arm behind your back. Whatever feels best. This is a little bit of a comfortable pose. We're relaxing our head or our ear down towards the mat. But if you want to add some strength to it, you're welcome to pull those lower ribs in, sink the tailbone back. last exhale, bring that left hand back down onto the mat. Reach and unravel all the way through. Lift that right hand back up towards the ceiling. Exhale, hand comes to the mat. So you're going to ground down into your hands. We're going to lift our hips up and back into our first downward facing dog. And I want you to just make this downward facing dog your own this morning, so you can bend into either knee or sink one heel down towards the mat and then the other, pedaling those feet, walking the dog a little bit. You can even bend both knees, bring your chest down towards your thighs, and then straighten those legs away. Whatever feels good for you, just sink and relax into this pose. Make it a comfortable downward facing dog for a few breaths. On that last inhale, taking gaze forward toward your hands, step one foot forward and then the other. Inhale, I want you to peel up, look up halfway, and exhale, fold in half. Take your right hand, bring it across towards your left ankle or your left calf. And inhale, I want you to reach through the top of your head while you're pressing down and out into those feet. Pull those lower ribs in so your back stays flat. Bring your left hand onto your waist and then just gently start to open up your chest. Maybe take your gaze up over your left shoulder. Keep that core active. You'll feel as if you're hollowing out your belly just a little bit. This helps stretch out those side body muscles. Exhale, release, let yourself kind of hang in a ragdoll as you take the left hand over towards your right ankle or your right calf. Inhale, lengthen up through the top of the head halfway. Press down and out into those feet. You can bring your right hand onto your right hip. Inhale, open up your chest, elbow up towards the ceiling, gaze up over the shoulder. And exhale back, ragdoll. Hands come onto the mat, step those feet back one more time, downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog here, let's stretch out our upper body, stretch out our upper quads is what I meant. Ground down into that left foot, lift your right leg up straight. I want you to bend into that right knee, reach those right toes over to the left, opening up your hip flexors. Bend that knee, reach through your pinky toe. Inhale, reach the right foot back up, and we're gonna swing that right foot all the way up towards our hands, taking a big step up. But I want you to lower that left knee down onto the mat. So pick that right foot up, wiggle those toes up towards your hands if you can. And you can make a fist here if you need a little bit of extra space on your inner thigh. But take your time, walk the foot forward, let your hips sink down towards the mat. And then notice your upper body here, reaching through the top of your head, and then pull those lower ribs in, connecting with your core again. Almost feeling as if you're tucking that tailbone just how we started class. On your last exhale, I want you to continue pressing down into that right foot, and we're going to straighten through that right leg, just sinking our tailbone back towards our left heel. Inhale, press into the right foot, move forward into sinking into that knee again. Take the hands down onto the mat. Take the left ball of the foot onto the mat, lift yourself up and back into your downward facing dog again. We're gonna switch sides, taking our left side this time, lift that left leg up towards the ceiling. Bend into your left knee, reach those toes over to the right, give a nice stretch. And then we're gonna swing that left leg forward towards our hands. Big step forward. And so same thing, sink down onto that right knee. And you can also, here's a little trick, you can also double up that mat if your knee feels like it's pressing into the hardwood floor. But you're trying to pick that foot up, bring it forward as much as you can so that your hips can sink down into the mat. Same thing, if fists work on the mat better than your hands, you can do that. But we're gonna adjust the same way, pull that lower core in, tuck your tailbone, sink your waist down. Long spine, take a few breaths here. Notice the stretch in your front quad, your hip flexor, that psoas muscle. On that last exhale, take and shift the tailbone back down towards your right heel this time. So you can either keep that left toe pointing down towards the mat, really stretch out those hamstrings, or you can pull those toes back towards your upper body and stretch more into your calf. Inhale, rocking forward once again. Take the hands down onto the mat. We're going to step it back into our downward facing dog. Step back. Downward facing dog. Take a big breath in here. Gaze back toward your knees or your thighs and exhale, let it out. Inhale, I want you to shift your weight forward, coming into a high plank. Gaze forward towards the front edge of your mat. And from here, you can either take the knees down onto the mat, or we're gonna lower all the way down, chest down towards the mat. Take your hands out wider than the mat, fingertips on the mat. I want you to take your elbows up towards the ceiling. We're gonna press into those fingertips and just peel your chest up. Keep those legs active, tops of the feet onto the mat. Exhale, lower down. We're gonna do that 2 more times. If you need to shift out the waist in between, you can just shift those hips side to side, relax your lower back. Inhale, lift it back up. Exhale, lower down. And again, inhale, lift it up. Exhale, lower down. This time, bring those hands back and we're gonna lift up into a full upward facing dog, lift up. Keep those legs super active, pressing the hips down and forward. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog here, gaze forward towards your hands, step one foot and then the other up towards your hands. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, fold. On your exhale, hold your exhale, fold here. Ground down into your left foot, just lift that right leg up. As you lift that right leg up behind you, I want you to start lifting your head up as if the top of your head is in a straight line all the way through to your big toe. And exhale, take that right foot down to meet the left and give a fold. Inhale, look up halfway. Ground down into your right foot, lift the left foot up. Same thing here, lift that left foot up, point through your big toe, reach through the top of your head, engage your core. Exhale, lower down. And fold. And make these folds relaxing on the in-between. We're gonna go back over to our right side here, ground down into your left foot, inhale, lift up halfway, reach that right foot up. And as you reach that right foot up, I want you to kind of sink into a bend, just a slight bend into that left knee. And we're gonna inhale, slowly start to bring that upper body up and take this right leg straight out in front of us and press into that left foot. Good. Just working on a little bit of mobility, bend into that right knee. I want you to bring your arms up towards the ceiling. Working on balancing and mobility. Bend those arms into cactus arms. Keep that right knee bent, hugging in as close as you can. Take the left elbow towards your right knee. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale, shift it forward. Take that right foot back, reach through your hands, reach through your foot. Exhale, fold hands to the mat. And right foot down to meet the left. Good, we'll perfect it, don't worry. Ground down into the right foot, lift that left leg up this time. Same thing, slowly inhale, lift your chest, reach through the top of your head. Give a little sink into that right knee, so you're making that right knee work for you. You have a little bit of buoyancy in your leg. And then inhale, lift your upper body up. Bring that left leg forward with you. Reach through your toe. Bring those arms up, bend into that knee. Bend into the elbows, cactus arms. Exhale, right elbow to your left knee. Good. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, maybe that left foot doesn't touch the mat. We're gonna fold forward with a reach. And then exhale, fold, hands to the mat. Relax that left leg down. Good, heel toe those feet out wide. Bend into either knee. Take and grab onto opposite elbows and just let your whole upper body hang. Ragdoll. Give yourself a few big inhales and exhales, cleansing breaths. Because you know we're going to do that again. So just let those legs shake out a little bit, working on our balance this morning. Inhale, look up halfway. Take an exhale, bring those feet back together, heel toe them back in. We're gonna do the same thing, we might add more. Ground down into that left foot, lift that right leg back behind you, let it float. Lift and open up your chest so you're reaching through the top of your head, reaching through your big toe. Give a little bend into that left knee. Use your core, bring your upper body up. Take that right leg out straight. As you take the right leg out straight, reach those arms up. Pull your core in, pull that knee in. Bend into those elbows. Left elbow over towards your right knee. Inhale, reach back up. Kick that foot out straight. And this time we're going to take it out to the side. So take that right leg out to the side and then fold forward. Big circle with your leg. Exhale, hands to the mat. And release the right foot. I feel like that time was easier. Ground down into your left leg this time, or your right foot this time. Lift your left leg up. Reach through the top of your head, pull your core in. Give a little bend into that right knee. Lift up. Left leg's out straight. Arms reach up. Arms reach up, bend that left knee, bring it in close. Bend your arms, cactus arms. Give a little twist, right elbow toward your left knee. Inhale, lift, reach that foot out again. And so same thing, we're gonna try to take it out to the side. As you take it out to the side, hinge forward, reach, and fold. Hands to the mat. Exhale, left leg to meet the right. Same thing here, heel toe those feet out. Wide stance, grab onto opposite elbows, let your whole upper body hang. You can rock side to side. Shake your head yes or no to make sure you're relaxing your neck, relaxing your shoulders. Walk the hands out onto the mat. Step those feet back. Come into a comfortable downward facing dog. Beautiful. Take a big breath in. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, shift your weight forward, high plank. You can lower down onto your knees here. We're going to lower all the way down, chaturanga. all the way down onto our stomachs. So we're going to stretch out our quads here and then work on a few little back bends. So to start, I want you to bring your left forearm down onto the mat. Left forearm parallel to the short edge of your mat. So you're going to lift yourself up a little bit. So this left arm is helping you lift up. And then you're going to bend into that right knee. So right foot's coming back. And if you can, reach back towards that right foot and just press the heel towards your sit bone. So just a nice quad stretch here. If you don't feel anything going on in your quad or you don't feel quad stretch, the quad is the front part of your thigh. You can take and press that hip, that right hip down towards the mat and feel like you're lifting your knee up a little bit, or you're pressing that foot into your hand and your hand's pressing back into your foot. So these are poses that you can take as far as you want to go. Exhale, release. Right leg goes back down onto the mat. We're going to switch arms, right forearm down onto the mat. It's holding you up this time. And left foot comes in. Reach back towards that left foot. And you're trying to take the left heel just to the outside of your sit bone or just to the outside of your hip. Same thing here, press that hip down towards the mat. Lift your knee up a little bit or lift that foot into your hand if you don't feel a stretch. If you do feel a stretch, don't even worry about it. Exhale, release. Relax, bring the whole chest down onto the mat. We're going to take our hands back towards our toes, and I want you to try both feet this time. So we're just going to bring both feet in towards our sit bones and try to wrap those hands around the tops of your feet. So we're going to lift our feet up towards the ceiling, going into a little bit of a bow pose or a back bend. So these can be difficult because they get up into our upper rhomboid muscles, and sometimes we forget to use them. So they can be weak. So we're going to inhale, and if you need to come down, but try to take a few breaths once you lift up. So inhale, kick those feet into your hands, lift your feet up. Take a breath, and exhale, release. Good job, guys. So we're going to do that again. Inhale, lift it up. Kick those feet into your hands. Kick, 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 lift. And exhale, release. Good. Take a big breath when you release. And just one more. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, release. Make a pillow with your hands. Rest your chin on your hands. Push those legs side to side. Relax your lower back. And exhale, take the legs down onto the mat. We're going to reach our hands back towards our feet one more time. This time, I want you to try to keep the tops of the hands onto the mat or the palms onto the mat. It doesn't really matter as long as your hands are on the mat. Try to take those feet together. So the feet together, either big toes together or heels together, same thing. These are just minor details, but they do help us get into our quads and our hamstrings. And so this time I want you to try to lift that chest up and lift your feet up, but your hands stay on the mat. So as you lift your feet up, I want you to reach through those toes like you're pointing your toes towards the wall behind you. And exhale, release. Same thing, if you need to switch side to side, you can. I know back bends can be hard, but they're so good for our backs. Inhale, take those feet back together, lift yourself up, chest lifts, legs lift, reach, and release. And one more time. Take those feet back together. Lift your chest up, reach through those toes like your legs are going to be super straight. Reach and release. Same thing, pillow with your hands. You can either bend your knees or just shift your hips side to side. Relax those legs onto the mat. Take your hands back, lift your upper body up, upward facing dog. Exhale back, downward facing dog. In your downward facing dog, really exaggerate your core. Pull that core in, tuck your tailbone, lower ribs in. Gaze back toward your thighs. Take your legs down onto the mat, coming back into your tabletop. Switch to one side or the other, come into a seat. Legs out straight. We're gonna take the right, I'm gonna start with the left. We're gonna take our left foot or our left heel back towards our left sit bone. Good. So in this pose, we're gonna break this pose down slowly. We're not gonna jump right into it like we always do. I want you to sit up as tall as you can. Sit up as tall as you can, pull that core in. And when you're sitting up as tall as you can, I want you to just hinge forward, trying to keep reaching through your spine, reaching through your back. Only folding as far forward as you can. Feel that stretch in your lower back or maybe even in your upper back. And reach those hands down. Both hands can go on either side of the leg, or if you have range of motion and can reach your foot, that's fine. But reach through the top of the head, nice flat back. Slow micro movements to fold. Inhale. Take an exhale, come all the way up. This time take and point those right toes down towards the mat. And then relax that leg. Walk the hands back behind you. We're just walking the hands back behind us. We're stretching out this left quad again. So same thing here, walking those hands back. You can either lift that hip up towards the ceiling, pressing the foot down into the mat as you lift. You'll feel a stretch. Or if you feel a stretch just hanging out back here, that's fine too. And then slowly release. Walk the hands back up. Take the weight over to your right sit bone. Keep that left knee bent and then straighten it out in front. Switch that left leg side to side. Relax the left leg. We're going to switch over to the right. Take the weight over to your left hip. Bring the right heel back towards your right sit bone. Same thing. We're not going to jump right in. We're going to sit up tall. So sit up as tall as you can. And I want you to think about just the hips hinging forward first. So you're really getting into your lower back. You're using all of these muscles in your upper body to keep your back straight. And then hands on either side of that left leg, or you can grab a hold of the left foot, whatever works for you. But keep that left foot active. Toes up towards the ceiling, press through the sole of the foot. Reach through the top of your head as if your chest was going to fold toward your leg. Big breaths. Inhale and exhale all the way up. Walk those hands back. Hands back behind you. Sit up tall. Same thing on this side. You can slightly lift that hip up towards the ceiling. Take the knee down towards the mat or kick the top of the foot into the mat. Stretching out the quad. Inhale, relax, walk those hands back in, shift the weight over to the left, keep that right knee bent, bring it out straight, and relax. Shift the legs side to side. So last week we did a little bit of work with bending our knees and opening up our hips into lotus, and we're going to do some of that again just because we've already opened up our quads and we've been working on our knees. So to start, just bring the soles of the feet in together, pinky toes together, big toes apart, as if you're opening up your feet like a book. And I want you to bring those heels in as close as you can towards your sit bones. Lengthen through the top of your head, sit up nice and tall, fold again with a flat back, as if your chest is gonna go down towards your toes. Feel nice and long, lengthened spine. And then if you want to press your elbows into your inner thighs to open up those legs, you can. Inhale all the way back up. Take an exhale. We're going to keep the right leg in first, the left leg goes out straight. So this right knee is bent. We're going to pull that right heel in as close as we can. Knee stays bent. This time we're going to give a comfortable fold. So I want you to reach out first, long spine, reach out towards that foot, ankle, or shin. Try to keep that chest folding down towards the legs, but I do want you to give a little relaxation to this pose. Let your head fall towards your leg. Excuse me. Let your head fall towards your leg. Keep that knee open out to the side. Inhale. Come all the way up. Exhale, we're gonna lift that that right foot up. So just scoop up underneath of that right foot. And what we're doing here is we're trying to bring this right knee towards the front of the mat. So the knee stays bent, and you're just trying to bring the knee towards the front of the mat. Good. Yeah. If you have that and you can place the foot there, place the foot there. If not, keep holding on to your leg. Lifting that foot up, knee towards the front of the mat. You might feel a stretch in the right hip. You might feel your knee opening because you are stretching all of the muscles on top of your knee and your quad. But if you're working on half lotus here, I want you to think about that foot all the way into your hip crease and that knee shifting forward towards the front edge of the mat. Sit up tall. The sitting up tall is the key. And exhale. Release that leg. Keep the knee bent until you straighten it out. Switching sides, left foot comes in. Easy pose first, left foot comes in towards the right inner thigh, knee out to the side. And we're gonna give a comfortable forward fold, reach down towards your foot, ankle or shin, fold over top of the leg. Relax that knee out to the side. Inhale. And exhale, brings you all the way up. And we're gonna try the left side, same thing. Scoop up underneath of that foot to start. So if you hold up underneath of the foot, it helps you lift that leg up, almost as if you're lifting it in towards your navel. But the knee is still out to the side, and the key thing is you just wanna keep this knee closed. You don't wanna grab your foot from out here. That's not safe on your knee. You want the knee closed, lift up onto your foot, and then just try to shift that knee forward towards the front edge of the mat. See if the foot doesn't come onto your thigh. If it doesn't come onto your thigh, just keep sitting up tall, holding onto that leg or that foot and reaching through your right foot. The reason that sitting up tall makes this pose easier is because you're using the muscles to support your lower back, and that actually helps also open up your hips. This is half lotus. And exhale, release. And same thing, we open our knee out to the side first, and then straighten that leg out. Switch the leg side to side. Good. We're gonna give a little bit more hip mobility because it's my favorite. So we're gonna go into another downward facing dog and then make our way into a pigeon pose. So just take the legs over to one side or the other, hands out onto the mat, lift your hips up. We're gonna give another leg lift to open up our front quad. So ground down into that left foot, lift your right leg up, bend your right knee, reach those toes. Inhale, lift that right leg back up. And this time we're bending that right knee, bringing it in close to our chest and taking the right knee forward towards our hands. Left leg back behind you. So this is a pigeon pose. And so if this, we're just gonna be here for a moment. Pigeon pose. I want you to relax those arms down if that's comfortable for you, or keep the arms up, whatever works. Yeah, good. Nice stretch in your hip, your quad. And on your last exhale, take your hands back down onto the mat, lift yourself up. And I want you to bring yourself into this funky leg position that I am in, best way possible. So keeping that right knee forward, I just want you to bend that left knee a little. And that right leg is out in front of you. You're welcome to, if you want to keep feeling a stretch in your right leg, you're welcome to try to bring that shin parallel to the front edge of the mat. But we're going to take both hands, one on the front side of that right leg, one on the inside of the front leg. And you can take the hands onto the mat and you can use your hands here, but we're working on this left hip mobility. So you're gonna try to lift that left knee up. So the foot can be heavy on the mat, but you're trying to lift that knee up and relax it down. So these little movements are harder than we think. They look easy. Lift that knee up. And back down. And again, lift that knee up. And back down. Good. And then take the hands over towards your right knee. So you're getting more of a stretch on that left side of the body. So grounding down into your hands here, this time we are going to try to lift that whole leg up and bring it in like this. Without the hands help if you can, and bring it back. That's step 2. If step 1, just lifting up that knee works for you, you can stay there. So let's do that again. Lift that leg up, bring it in towards your elbow and back. Good. And the more range of motion you use here, lift that leg up and in. So you're welcome to take that leg open further if that works for you, just working on that range of motion in your hip. One more time, lift up and in, good, and back. Good, walk the hands over. Take that right foot back in, ground down into your hands, press into the left ball of the foot, lift yourself up and back, kick that right leg up to stretch it out. And place it back to meet the right. Meet the left. And then we're going to switch sides here. So lift the left leg up this time. We're going to stretch out the front side of the body, reach those toes over to the right. Knee lifts. And then bring that knee forward towards your hands, coming into a comfortable pigeon pose. And it'll feel good on this side because we just worked those glute muscles and the hip muscles. Sink the waist down, walk those hands out. Come onto your forearms, relax into your pigeon pose. Inhale, slowly bring yourself back up. Same thing here, we're gonna bring ourselves into that funky position on this side. So just bend that right knee. Left knee is bent in front. And you're gonna take one hand to the inside of that left leg, one hand in front of the left leg. So we're gonna start the same way. I know I'm facing the opposite direction of you guys, but we're gonna start the same way by just lifting that right knee. So I do want you to try to sit up tall. You don't want to sink all the way down to the mat like this. You want to sit up tall or lift your head and then just lift that right knee and lower it down and lift the right knee and lower. And one more time, lift and lower. Good. This time, take both hands in front and bring them over toward your left knee. So again, we're stretching more into that right side body. Sit up tall. And this time, we're going to try to lift that whole leg up. Whole leg lifts, bring it in and back. Take it all the way back where it was. And again, lift the leg up and in and back. They feel kind of silly, but I promise they're so good for our hips. Bring that leg back in and behind. Last time, lift up and in and reach it back. Good. That seemed less painful than the first time we did it. Take the leg back, hands onto the mat, press the right ball of the foot into the mat, lift your hips up. Take the legs back. You can lift that left leg again if you want. And exhale, release. Beautiful. Take the feet out wide in your downward facing dog. I want you to bend into those knees. Take your chest down towards your thighs. Your heels can lift up. And then straighten through your legs. Let's do that 2 more times. Bend your knees, take the chest down towards your quads, and lift your hips up. Straighten. Last one, bend your knees, chest towards the thighs. And straighten. Beautiful. Take your knees down onto the mat, coming back into your tabletop position. Take the big toes together, sink your sit bones down towards the mat. Walk your hands out in front. Inhale, look up halfway, walk the hands over to the right. You can take that left hand over top of the right, sink your left hip back. Feel a nice stretch through your left shoulder. Inhale. Bring the hands back to center, making your way over to the left. This time, right hand places on top of your left, sink that right hip back. Inhale, bring the hands back to center. Take an exhale. Inhale, come up. Thread the legs through, sit down, and come back down onto your backs once again. Take both knees into your chest with you. I want you to hold on to your right leg and then send that left leg out straight. You can relax the left leg onto the mat. Hold that right knee in. And bring it out just slightly. Take the left hand onto your right knee and we're going to take it across the body. Just drop that leg across the body, opening up your hip once again. Giving a little stretch in the side body. Keep the shoulders on the mat. So try to keep both shoulders on the mat as you take that right knee over. The right hip is going to lift. Inhale, come back. Exhale, bring that right knee in. And switch sides, lift the left leg up, send the right leg out straight. And then relax that leg slightly. Take the right hand on top of your left knee. Take that leg across the body. Inhale, bring it back. Take an exhale, both knees come back into your chest, and I want you to take your arms out onto the floor next to you. And we're going to drop those knees over to the right. So hug those knees close together, close into your chest, and then let them hang heavy over to the right. So a way to get a nice side body stretch here again is to make that left shoulder heavy down towards the floor. Allow your right leg to relax, your left leg to relax, and that left shoulder falls down towards the mat. And bring your knees back into your chest. Rock your knees over to your left. We're switching sides. Keeping that right shoulder heavy this time. Relaxing the left leg, the right leg. Bring your knees back into your chest. We're going to prepare for Shavasana, our final relaxation pose here. If there's anything else that your body is calling for, you can go ahead and do that now. Or you can just lie completely flat on your mat. And I like to settle in a little bit, so shaking your head side to side or wiggling your fingers, your toes, getting the body to soften, allowing those muscles to relax any holding patterns that they might have developed throughout this practice this morning. Just allowing your body to take a few more moments this morning to just be. As you slowly start to bring some life back into your body, I want you to repeat to yourself, I am imagining the unimaginable. Letting that sink in as you make your way back up to a seated position on your mat. Bring your hands together. Take a few more slow inhales and exhales. And we'll close out this practice this morning with a word that means the light in me honors the light in you, as the light in you honors the light in me. Namaste. Thank you guys for making it this morning. It was nice to have people in the studio all at one time, and we all fit.